Hello everyone, thanks for coming back. By now all going well. After video 1 you've got your dataset connected and you've renamed your Power BI file. If you look at your table view, look at the data, whichever column you select, in this case year, Power BI will tell you what type, format and how it's summarised. Careful on the data types though. Even though that is technically talking about a year, it's saved as a whole number. Power BI, Excel, they don't care what the data's talking about, if you like. They just care about how it's held. In this case, a whole number. We're not going to update anything here, but just have that at the back of your head for later. Okay, I'm sure you've come to make some charts. So go back to report view and just click the field in the data panel called number students. Power BI will automatically create a clustered column chart. Because we picked a number field first, that's the default one for a number field. And you can see where it is in the visualization pane there. Now click college. You've now got a column chart showing the number of students per college. Easy as that. It's also populated the X and Y axis within the build visual pane. So you can always sort of see where it is in there. Okay, click into the white space, in other words, off the chart. Now click college first, then number of students. Exactly the same data, but because we picked a text field first, the default one this time is a table. Go back to your chart, click the three dots for more options, and we're going to arrange the axis. You can see at the moment it's sorted on number of students. Change that to college. Pick ascending, and your axis is sorted out in alphabetical order of college. Let's do a quick file save. Remember, no autosave in Power BI. Yet. They keep changing things. Right, leave page 1 alone. Create a new page using the button. Click city, then number of students. This might not work. Reason is that some IT departments, if you're using a work PC, turn off the map visuals because it's quite power hungry. But if it has, you'll have a different size of bubble depending how many students are in each city. You can even hover over the bubble and it will tell you, it's called tooltips, how much information, further information about that city, in this case, how many students. Now drag the SCQF level, into legend. Now each bubble is actually broken down by how many students are on each SCQF level. Tooltips there. It's an enormous amount of information you can add into a chart using tooltips. As I say, the whole point is to make sense of your data for anyone. Anyone should be able to look at it. By spending time on formatting and making your charts consistently designed and also the dashboards, anyone, even a non-data scientist, will be able to understand. So go back to page 1, make them both a bit bigger, and activate the column chart. And now we're going to look at the second part of the visualization pane called format. Loads and loads of options. Split into 2 sections, general and visual. General is your non-visual specific, so title, background, border, things like that. And the visual change options depending what you've picked. Start with general and select title. An update to number of students per college. Anyone's done a bit of pivot tables will know it always does sum of, which it technically is, sum of students. It's just not very user friendly. So always worth updating the titles. Also on titles, my Excel training would tell me in a title, every single word should have a capital. However, consistency is more important. If you do a capital at the beginning of each word, do that for every title. If it's just the beginning of the first word, again, do that for every title. It just makes the whole thing look as one cohesive dashboard. When working through the formatting options, as it says, please close them down. Now, while you're within there, what I did, I updated the font size and colour and background. You pick what you like within there. Effects, please do this on everything. Turn on the border and the shadow. It just separates everything from each other. While we're in border, open up further options. I've updated the colour of my border. I've added 15 pixels to make them rounded, and I made it a little bit wider. Have a little play within there and change a few options, see how it looks. Now we're going to update some of the visual specific options. So go to visual options. Think about what's necessary. We want to make best use of the space in this dashboard, so some of these things we can turn off. We can probably get rid of y-axis, x-axis titles, things like that. And we're going to work our way through and get rid of some of these. So again, just one section at a time. We'll go into there, y-axis, turn off both value and title. X-axis, turn off the title. Leave the values though, otherwise we won't know what college we're talking about. We also need to know how many students are in each college. So if you go back into the options and turn on data labels. But the default aren't very pretty. They put the labels above the chart, they're quite small, and they also round the figures up, in this case to the nearest 1,000. Not particularly accurate. Open up the data labels for further options, change the position to inside base, and then go down to value. Open that up. Within value, the display units, the auto is the one that rounds it up. So change auto to none, and then we'll have an accurate reading. I also updated the font size so they're a bit easier to read. We're also going to update the column colours, and with so many options there, I'll show you a couple. So go to the columns options. You've got the option to change the bars individually. In this case, we're not, but as it says there, you could allocate a different colour for each college if you wanted, but we're going to pick the FX button. You may have heard of conditional formatting within Excel, and that's what we're going to do. That little pop-up will come up. So we're going to format the columns based on how many students are at each college. We're going to do a gradient. We're going to make the college with the least amount of students red, the maximum green, and the rest will be a gradient going from one to the other. So let's start with minimum. In the box there, we're going to update that to 100% red. Let's see if I can give you a crash course in hex and RGB. This is how you pick your specific colours. If you remember back to primary school, and you were told that primary colours are red, yellow and blue, often called CYMK. Screen colours, different. They're red, green and blue, hence RGB. You've also got hex options, but we'll stick with RGB here. So we want 100% red. There are 256 options in each colour. But programmers, being a bit awkward, start at 0. That's for another time. So for 100% red, we want 255 red. And we want 0 green and 0 blue. And that will give us the full red. So that's your minimum. We then want to update maximum to 100% green. So in that case, 0 red, 255 green, and 0 blue. And as it says there, see the hex colours are changing. Well, we'll cover that at a different lesson, but it works the same way. RGB is a little bit simpler to explain. Click Add a Middle Colour, press OK. Then you should see, all going well, that your columns are now coloured with a gradient based on how many students are in each one. It's also added a legend, which we're going to tidy up as well. So if you go to the legend options within the visual, what we'll do now, I centered my title. Depending where you put yours, it makes sense to center the legend. Also, we don't need the title, so turn off title. It did take a while, And there are a myriad more formatting options. The only way to find where everything is just keep using it. And it also updates all the time. There'll be more things added in. But it's not a bad little chart for first go. We're going to do another one, but first we're going to delete the table. Find the three dots, then remove. Nice quick column chart underneath to show how many students per region. Click number of students, then region, and you should get something that looks like that. But obviously we want everything to be consistently formatted. So now we need to update all the formatting on the second chart so it matches the first one we made. We've got a couple of options for that. Option 1, spend the next 20 minutes going through all the formatting options like we just have. Option 2, use that. I would suggest option 2. If you've not seen this before, Format Painter, all Microsoft applications have it and nobody uses it. Select your finished chart, then go up to the ribbon under Home, click Format Painter, click your second chart. It's amazing. All done. A couple of things to tidy up. Obviously, it doesn't know what title we need, so change that. And then update data labels values to display none. And that's it. Summary on that. Try and think ahead. Is there a way that I can duplicate what I'm going to be doing? Use the Format Painter whenever you possibly can, and you'll soon be a whiz at this. All right. I think that's plenty for just now. Wee cup of tea, and we'll be back in a sec. Thanks very much.